It's like, yeah, exactly. It needs to be bulldozed. I don't want to buy that thing, man. But I don't think I had the capability to buy a building that big. So yeah, I would love to buy a building, but
I know one of the buildings that Sal bought, it was brand new or almost brand new. I think he paid $1.2 million. He's got only about 8,000 square feet, but he rents out 4,000. He has 4,000.
exactly.
His mortgage payment is like $5,500. His person that's renting half pays $6,000. So he's living rent free, and they're paying off $1 million building. So
yeah, that's it. And the building that's for sale is 50,000 square feet. So there's a lot. And I'm like, I don't know that I want to be a landlord, you know.
Right.
But like 8,000 and renting out one unit, that's different.
Yes.
50,000 and renting out a couple of units, that's a whole different situation. Anybody own their building? You guys? No.
Not in this group.
Yeah.
Dave used to, I think, used to own a building, right, Dave? Yeah, he used to own a building, and then he sold it. Now he's kind of thinking about maybe going back into that.
Did you why'd you sell it?
Because I moved down here and I really didn't have a knowledge of like long-term leasing or anything like that. It just seemed like the thing to do. And after I sold it, and when capital gains and all that stuff came around, I really regretted it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was able, the studio that I sold wasn't a building. It was just the location in Stillwater that I sold. I was able to, move my tax liability out a couple of years, spread it out. That was nice. But yeah, capital gains is not a fun situation.
Yeah.
Understand.
So I'm not always, just my experience, which is limited, not all that high on buying a building, but it depends on what you're paying for rent too. I mean, because if you're stuck with it, you're stuck with it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Paul Garcia bought a huge building. He's in an industrial park. But I don't even know how many. He's probably got 15,000 square feet. He paid, I think, $500,000 for that building.
Yeah. Our business would fit in an industrial park, but the problem is Tulsa industrial park means like that's rough. That's rough. It's not a pretty suburban, well painted. It's like locked up and chained up at night type place, and we're not interested in that.
You don't want to bring your kids there, so.
One, it's also like the traffic. You have to think about traffic, and in the middle of the city, that's hard. It's easier. It feels like it's easier to get around in suburbia than it is in the middle of the city. It's just rough. Traffic light to traffic light. People are, how hard it is. It's hard to get people to come 2 days a week anyway, even if it's easy to get their kid out of the house, much less through traffic. So, well, one of the things that we did that I started doing recently after my kickboxers would become 2 weeks, like they 2 weeks for $20 trial, and we started offering them things to get them to come back. We did a flow after they become a member as well that's doing really well for us, asking them within, I think it's on their 5th day after they become a member, to review us, because we don't want them to review us 6 months later when they're either gone or they're a little irritated or whatever. Review us in their honeymoon period, and we're getting a good I think we've increased our reviews. We've got like 10 new reviews in the past week. So
there's no incentive for doing it. You just ask them to do a review.
Right, exactly. Hey, are you enjoying your classes? So, but this is after we've done a lot for them, right? This is after we've sent them a lot of links to like training videos, and when they were 2-week trial, we already gave them a free t-shirt for giving us a survey of their experience. So like, hey, how was your experience? We want your experience to be so great. Can we give you a t-shirt for answering 3 questions? And then, hey, can we give you, it's like $50 back to enroll, so they're already feeling great. Hey, are you, we say, now that you're a member, you might want to go back and rewatch this training video because you've been here for a while and it might make more sense to you. And then we say, hey, by the way, if you're enjoying classes, would you mind? And we put a link. It's really hard to find your Google reviews link, by the way. If you want to put a review link in, you have to go to Google, the Google Places API, and then you have to find your unique location number and put it in the thing. Like I can show you guys how to do it. It was really hard to do. Like Facebook's easy. MotionJoseph.com/reviews. Boom, right? But Facebook has recently changed the way that they do reviews. So have you guys noticed that? It's recommend or don't recommend. It's no longer a star scale. The problem is those recommends and don't recommends no longer affect your star scale. So we're left with a 4.4 out of 5, which sounds terrible because we got a couple of bad reviews. And then we've got all these good reviews but they just say recommend. So our 4.4 is never going to move up. But we moved our Google from 4.5 to 4.7 in like a week. So that was nice.
Nice.
Yeah. But we put that in a flow. So it's 5 days after, it sends them an email. Hey, if you're enjoying classes, we'd love for you to write. And what we say is not rate us. We say rate us 5 stars and tell us what you're enjoying about class, so that other people might be able to hear about that too. Because I think you guys all understand that sometimes there's fake reviews, right? I mean, have you guys heard of the Amazon shipping situation? What do they call it? It's like black shipping or something like that, where the company will hire people to purchase items. They'll pay them to buy it. They'll send it to a random address, like just a random address. So an Amazon box will show up at your address with like earphones. And then it's a verified purchase because it was sent to an address. And so they do a fake 5-star review. So like we're all like, people are a little savvy about stars. So if it's just 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, and no one says anything, that's challenging. So we want to encourage them to be like, hey, we love how Master William talks to the kids. Hey, we love how Crystal interacts with us during kickboxing class or whatever. So we actually ask them, and tell us a little bit about what your experience has been so that other people can see that. And we don't say so that we can feed our ego. We say so that other people can see whether or not they think it's something that they'd like to do. And that seems to be most of our reviews have a sentence or two accompanying them about, hey, we really like classes or whatever. So
if you happen to get bad reviews.
We get them sometimes.
No, I've got a guy here close to me. He's got the worst reviews I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's almost scary.
Yeah.
But, it's like, I don't know if these people just hate him or he just did something bad, but he's got some terrible reviews.
Like a client of yours or just somebody local?
Just someone local.
Yeah, well, and that's what I actually, the reason I started this is I sent everybody an email and then I put it into a flow because I was sick of it. Like the only people that were reviewing us, every once in a while somebody's grandma would be like, I went to the graduation and it was great, but like it was only people who were pissed. And we had one lady who, here's the deal. We broke our rules for this lady, and our rules are you pay the enrollment fee no matter what you like for like after school. It's a $97 enrollment fee. I don't care if you're going to be in after school for one day, you pay the enrollment fee. And that's to deter people who are going to take advantage. I don't know what we were thinking, but we gave her some credit that we shouldn't have given, and we gave her some options. And then when she decided she didn't want to do it anymore and she realized she had been charged $900, which really was more like $600 because it was a couple of weeks of summer camp and an enrollment fee and a prorated amount. It was very reasonable. She wrote us crazy, terrible reviews. So we responded to those reviews as best we could. But when somebody just straight up lies, like she said something crazy. It's like just full on lie. It's like, how is it when somebody lie like that? I understand my opinion's different than Greg's, but me saying like, well, one time I saw Greg killing a dog. It's like it's just a full on lie. I don't know how to deal with that. So we responded as best we could, and then we asked all of our people who know, like, and trust us to write better positive reviews. Hopefully, people can see great 5-star reviews and one insane lady. Hopefully that helps. But I don't know if you're just getting bad reviews all the time.
I always, because I go to a lot of restaurants, I always review the restaurants. Mm-hmm. And when I was watching, I was reading one the other day, and it was like 4.3. But the bad ones were just stupid things. I had to wait 10 minutes for my food. They gave him a 1. That's how he didn't like the food. That just something went bad in his life. And all of a sudden it screws up the rest. It wasn't a bad food, bad service, anything like that. He was just pissed off at something.
Yeah. It's frustrating. That's why I feel like fighting that with good, as much as I want to just argue with her online. I did respond, and we said something like, because she said, everybody, buyer beware, they're going to steal your money. And so we said, we're something to the effect of, Your charges were legitimate. And we're sorry that you feel this way, but anybody who's reading this review is welcome to come and visit our facility. We'd love to talk with you about, we're very proud of the way that we do business. Mm-hmm. So, but one of the things that I got this idea from was I was watching an interview with somebody who was a consultant for the restaurant industry, and they were talking about restaurant reviews and like getting people to come back, because if you go to a restaurant twice, you're going to keep going. As if you had 2 good experiences, you're willing to go through 10 bad experiences because you had those 2 good ones. But that first one's got to be great. He was talking about something like asking, you guys have maybe even seen this interview, asking the people, is this your first time here? Oh, no, we were here before. Oh, this is your second time. Like asking, oh, this is your second time. Okay, great. And like putting like a red napkin on the table because that's their second time. So then the manager comes over and says, hey, I'm so glad you guys are here again. Here's a free dessert. And they're like, oh my God, great. And then on the third time asking them to review. So having a process for getting people to give those reviews is really, I think it's really important. And I don't know why I didn't have it before. And in that honeymoon period when they're so happy with us, Yep.
Yeah. To change the subject, we are doing the Back to School Buddy Bash. A lot of my clients are also doing a VIP contest, so we keep the momentum going. So kids can get a reward for bringing kids to Back to School Buddy Bash, and then we do a VIP contest through the month. What is the best way if you have a school like Jerry's and 400 people come to your Buddy Bash, and he's got 5 or 6 employees? How do they try to get everyone's information?
So the way that we do it is we do wristbands. Nobody gets in the door. It's a safety situation. Nobody gets in the door without a wristband. And any parent who's like, hey, I just want to drop my kid off without telling you anything about it. It's like, no, we actually don't want your child, So that's how we do it with birthday parties, parents' night outs, open houses, anything where there's kids that we don't know coming in. That way a staff member can say, hey, buddy, where's your wristband? Oh, it fell off in the bathroom. Great, let's get your new one. Hey, buddy, where's your wristband? What's a wristband? I need you to come this way. I don't know how you snuck in here. Go see Julia and get their information. If there's a line out the door, that's good. Right? I want a line out the door. A lot of times my staff is like, no, then people have to wait. I'm like, that means it's a good thing. That means, right? You wait in line to see a movie. You wait in line to get your iPhone. Like, it's okay for people to have to wait. So I would do that. And then I would also tell people ahead of time, hey, look, we have lots of people. Please arrive early, and then have something for them to do early instead of just run around on the mat,
So with the wristband, you write out the wristband and you put the information on file.
Right. So like they fill out so we do a digital waiver, custom digital waiver through Rainmaker. So, cause you can create whatever you want. And we have parent name, last name, child's name, last name, date of birth, and then emergency phone number. We have done email. Email seems to be the thing that slows people down the most. Although I want to communicate with them via email, I also want to take advantage right away of what their situation is. So things like texts and front desk people calling back to invite them to another place is a more effective thing right away. So email is okay, but if you really are going to have 30 people in line, it's kind of hard to type your email out on an iPad, and that slows people down a lot. So.
Can people do, if I had 3 staff members, each one had their own cell phone, could they get to gather the information on the cell phone?
Yeah. Does anybody have a business cell phone account, like with AT&T? Yeah. So when you walk into the AT&T store, they've got those little iPads. Hey, what's your name? Great. And, let me get some information from you, and then I'll have somebody come over. And they do that. Same thing at the Apple store. So that's very reasonable. You could have somebody who's good at typing, instead of having the client themselves. We find a lot of times grandmas and grandpas really struggle with the iPad. You got an 80-year-old grandma that's dropping off because she said, oh, I'll take the kid. That's really hard. They're like, well, what was your mom's email? That gets challenging. But I like that idea. That's a good idea to have people doing that. But then you may not have that many staff members. Who's going to watch the kids,
Okay. Yeah, but if each staff member, they could just use their own iPhone long as they had their own phone, long as they had a login and password.
The reason I personally don't like that is I don't like the sight of what it looks like somebody's phone and your information going into somebody's phone. An iPad looks a little more professional. They could, if that's what you had, then you could have them say, I'm not putting this in my phone. I'm putting it directly into our system so that you have, I should say our system, so that we have your emergency contact information. Just want to let you know. Now, what was it? That's reasonable.
I'm just thinking of school owners that can't afford 4 or 5 iPads.
Yeah. Well, and that's why one with a big line is fine. Well, and you can also do it so like we don't just use the iPads. We have another line where we're using our desktop. Great. What's your child's name? What's your last name? What's your and using the same input situation. And then they get we buy the little rubber wristbands for like 500 of them for 12 cents a piece or whatever it is. We use 24hourwristband.com, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Super cheap.
So you just have your name, your school, and your logo on it?
Yeah, and our phone number. And we got new ones actually for summer camp. This is separate, but we got new ones for summer camp that have an emergency cell phone on it. It's like a burner phone, one of those ones that you can put prepaid minutes on that our counselor carries around. At least one counselor carries around the emergency phone all the time. So if a parent has to get in touch, or if a kid gets lost, that phone number is on their wrist, and the kids know they're always supposed to have their wristband on all the time, and they get an incident report if they take it off. So
I like that.
as a separate thing, that's something that we do separately. But yeah, we just put our logo and I think it's either our website address or our phone number. We may not do either one of those. I'll have to look at it. I mean, it may just be branding in terms of, hey, it's a big green bracelet that says Motion Tulsa on it. But that's how we make sure that every person goes through that front door.
I like it.
Yeah.
If someone was going to buy used iPads, how recent does it have to be able to use Rainmaker software?
Any iPad will run it.
Okay.
Now, the only problem so remember when they changed the connectors to the Lightning connector, right? So the only thing that I've noticed is that our old iPad, it still works and it runs Rainmaker great, but our old iPad won't update any further than a certain like whatever the software is.
Okay.
Now, it hasn't affected it because we don't use it for anything but browsing, online browser, and then we pull up the Rainmaker app. My wife bought an iPad for her prenatal yoga from Walmart, refurbished for like $179. And like she was like, this looks like a scam, but it says Walmart, and we researched it, and they buy them in bulk, refurbished from Apple, and then sell them. So that's a cheap way to get it, is refurbished from Walmart, or Facebook Marketplace, as long as it's working.
Good stuff. Like it.
Yeah. It runs Rainmaker great, no matter how old it is. No need for it to be pretty. Yeah.
Dave I know this is kind of private for Dave, but he's working on a new logo.
Yeah, we talked about that.
How important do you think the logo is, and where should he be headed? Because I noticed you put that comment on the Japanese flag, and as soon as I saw that, someone said that was probably a negative thing, but when I read it, it's not a negative thing. It's something that's really happening, and it's getting bad press and it's controversy.
Right. Yeah, and it's not about whether I like my personal opinion or whatever. Like George St. Pierre got in a lot of trouble because he came out in a gi that had the rising sun on the inside, and I thought it looked sweet. And then I was like, oh man, he's getting a lot of flack. And I looked it up. Okay, I can see how people are irritated about that. It's not like Japan was very nice in the 40s. They were pretty mean. So I get that. So I would get away from that controversy. But I think your logo is so important. Do people want to wear it? Does it stand on its own on a t-shirt? Does it have to have your web address and your phone number and one free class on you? Nobody's going to wear that. It needs to be, boom, a brand. It's a swoosh, Nike swoosh, or it's 3 bars for Adidas or whatever. Does it stand alone on its own?
Where did you come up with the idea of yours? Because, you got that circle, kind of circle.
The sun was my wife's idea. She wanted something that was bright and that felt outdoorsy, because we're always inside, right? Except we do summer camp that's outdoors, and we want people to have that outdoor feel. We found this sun finally after a lot of searching. We found a lot of Arizona type, New Mexico type suns, and that just wasn't the vibe we were looking for. So we wanted this sun, and then the Motion Tulsa was a custom font that somebody who was working for me at the time did. and we instantly liked it. And we went through a lot of designers though. So we went through, like, we had a friend of the family who's no longer a friend of the family because I think they're mad at us we didn't use their logo. It's like, hey man, like, it's not that we disliked it, it just wasn't for us. So have you tried to have anybody professional design it, Dave?
Yeah, there's somebody working on it now.
Okay. What kind of process did they use to get your ideas?
One kind of based off of what I had as on my storefront signage, which was similar to what you've seen, what I told everybody about, but not exactly. And I'm guessing that he might have had some artwork that already had that, like, Imperial flag thing, and kind of base it off of that, which I agree, it looks cool. But again, my research looking at it too, it's like, you know.
Yeah, it's
obviously 99% of people aren't worried or care about that, but I want to be comfortable with it personally too, you know. So I'm just pressing him to maybe just modify it a little bit so it doesn't have that. I do like what he did so far, but I'm just trying to see if he can just modify that a little bit so it doesn't resemble that Imperial flag that much.
You know, Scott Dolph was talking to me a long time ago when he changed the Rainmaker logo. And he said it was significantly expensive. He was like, it was so much money, and I was so nervous about it. And then when they presented it to me, it was right, because they had spent so much time talking to him about the vision and what it should convey. And so I do think that it's important for that logo to kind of, like, what is it that you do in your business? And that's hard to do. You know, that's hard. And it does take a professional designer to do that. One of the things, there's you might look, there's some like search business logos on Google. There's a lot of apps and companies right now that will allow you to put your name in and it'll just randomly generate things. Not that you want to use one of those, but it'll give you some ideas for really clean, modern logos. I do not suggest purchasing it off of Fiverr, but there are artists on Fiverr.com that will that create some really good logos. I've never had success with them. But when you look at them, you're like, oh, like, you just get some ideas. Like, okay, I like that. Like, I like the image to the right and my letters to the left versus I like the image on the back and my letters in front or on top or on bottom. So you can get some really good ideas by just kind of looking through what artists have created for other businesses. And you can reach out, but every time I've always paid the extra upgraded service, and I've never been happy with what they've sent back. So, you know, it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
I think your logo's cool, and it'd be really cool when you get to a point where you don't have to put motion on there. People just know it's you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I think the next step for us is to take the Tulsa away. And that's been organic. People started, like, I was really irritated about it, and so was my wife. She's like, it's not called Motion. It's called Motion Tulsa, you know, but people just kept saying Motion. Just like I tried to get kids, a couple of years ago, I tried to stop them from calling me Master William, because I thought it was kind of weirding out the summer camp people that, like, and we actually did. We had somebody ask our director, does that man expect children to call him master? And it's like, no, he's a karate guy. That's how they do it. And we've just kind of given up on it because that's what everybody says, Master William, right? Same thing. We've given up on it. It's Motion. Nobody says Motion Tulsa. They go, oh, I take kickboxing Motion. So it's like, okay, well, I guess that's what we are now. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but that would be cool. Look at some ideas on Fiverr, Dave. I think you'll be interested. I think it would be interesting for you.
I'm curious. Who did the Be Great Martial Arts logo? Did Zach do that, or did he have Fiverr do it?
So, you know, our logo used to be the big gorilla in the karate uniform, and for some reason we got away from that completely. Mm-hmm. It's funny because when we moved to this location, that's what's on the, you know, that's what's on the sign, the big gorilla. I had a kid, his name is Easton. He came in yesterday with his grandmother. They had stopped karate for a while for whatever reason. And she was driving by and she's like, look, there's the gorilla. I wonder if that's Mr. Jerry. And they pulled right in and paid for an intro. They come back today at 5.
Yeah.
So logo's important.
There's the gorilla, right? Exactly.
Yep.
I see you have it on quite a few cars in your area. Do you use the thin magnets or those stickers on cars?
Stickers.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I just tell them it's we got these for your cars. They're $5. If you promise to go put it on right now, I'll give it to you for free.
Exactly. I need to reorder some because I ran out of some. Do you guys do those, Greg?
No, but Solomon Brenner uses a shark. So it's action karate, but he has a shark with like an action belt on it.
Yeah.
And they'll go to students, okay, we're going to do a shark attack. Shark attack means he's going to go in the parking lot and put stickers on everyone's car.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Some of my teenagers that come to the adult class, so I know where they work. So I spent a Saturday with some Windexes and paper towels and went and put them on the back of all their cars.
That's awesome.
Welcome to Moe's.
That's right.
But on the back of our car, we have our dog spa, but it looks like a sticker, but it's a real thin magnet.
Oh. You know, we've gotten as an aside, we've gotten away from using vinyl on door signage. So, like, we have a big event coming up, like the holiday sale. We did it for this Motion Tulsa Games, like inter-school tournaments or whatever. We have a flyer made up, and then we blow that up into vinyl, and we put vinyl on the window. And it's like $50 or whatever, and it's certainly worth it for every time they open the door to see this big boom thing in their face. And we've started using static clings now. And that was a suggestion from our vinyl person. Like, we were having, of course, there's bubbles in the vinyl and this, that, and the other. And everybody getting nervous. And they were like, well, can you just put it on? I'm like, no, you put it on. So the static cling, you can peel it back off and put it back on and, like, adjust it. So if you guys are doing stickers or whatever, static clings are a really good way to do interior signage that's relatively temporary.
Yeah, I know because my son designs for Get Students, and clings are probably the biggest thing they sell now.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to ask. Does Get Students do custom cut stickers, like for cars?
Yes. They do the magnets. They do magnets. I don't think they do stickers. I'll have to ask them.
Yeah, because I need to order some. We've never had any for Motion Tulsa. We've only had them for old karate school. So I don't know why we don't have those. We should do the same thing. $5, but free if you go put it on right now. Here's a bottle and a paper towel.
I know. I see the church I go to. It's a family church, so they have like a big FC and then the website. I see them all over town. All over town.
Yep.
Yeah,
My little kicker goes to Be Great Martial Arts. Oh, he's frozen.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Great talk, sir. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.